It's not looking good. Gamers Table Independent Edition. Did you read the book, Cooking with Craig, Magic with Chris, the game design series, Game On? If you want to help keep us on the air, you want to keep seeing more shows like this, hey, click on the link. It's going to be all throughout the entire show. And go take a check out, see if maybe one of the perks is something that you'd be interested in. Anyone who has donated already, thank you very much, and your money is going to go towards keeping the shows on the air. Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday and we're reviewing Ultimate One Night Werewolf. One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
There you go.
Werewolf
One
Night
Ultimate One White?
This.
One wipe?
White? Ooh,
What?
Okay.
Wipe the werewolf? What?
One Night Werewolf.
In One Night Ultimate Werewolf, each player takes on the role of a villager, a werewolf, or a special character. It's your job to figure out who the werewolves are and to kill at least one of them in order to win. Unless you've become a werewolf yourself.
One Night Werewolf. It's like Battlestar Galactica, only like way shorter. So this is Werewolf. Everyone's played one. I mean, not everyone. But Werewolf's a fairly common game. A lot of people have just made homemade versions. There's ones you can buy. We're showing you a homemade version.
The different cards for everybody. We have the little tokens representing everybody to keep track. We have the rule book, and we have a script.
You got the werewolves, obviously. This particular copy is getting a little worn for wear, but you got your werewolves. You got your plain Jane villagers. I don't like to play with the villagers because when you're a villager, you don't really have a whole lot to say. Though having villagers in the game makes it a little bit easier for the guys who are werewolves. Oh, I'm just a villager. I don't know nothing. I'm just a villager.
Well, also on the werewolves kind of team or side there, you got a minion who's trying to get the attention off of the werewolves. And then you've got the tanner who's trying to pretend he's a werewolf at the same time, like the minion, but he actually wins if he does get killed there, too. And then you get all your other cool dudes.
Like the hunter, who his job is to kill a werewolf. But if he convinces enough people that he's somebody who needs to be shot and he's pointing at the werewolf, he's going to win anyways, because if you kill the hunter, whoever the hunter is pointing at is going to die too. So he can still help the villager team win, even if the werewolf's meant to convince everybody to know you really should shoot him. And there are the Masons.
The Masons.
There's more than one of them, and that's their bonus because they get to open their eyes up during the thing and look, okay, we know who each other are.
Or Masons. All right. And
there is the drunk who, after everything is done, he just takes one from the center. He has no idea who he is anymore.
He was drinking too much.
And you got the troublemaker who gets to switch two players' jobs identities around. And then you've got the insomniac. If he's the last person to open his eyes and look, so he's like, if somebody switched his around, or like the troublemaker there has switched his with someone else's, whatever, the insomniac opens his eyes, look at his job, and say, "Oh, that's not me anymore."
And the insomniac is the only guy who knows for sure who he is.
Yeah, exactly, because he's the last to look. And then the robber, I think, he steals someone else's job, or
he takes somebody else's job.
He takes and puts his.
He makes somebody else a robber, and he becomes whatever they have.
Yeah,
he stole their job. Yeah.
There's not so much screwing around in this game, but there's definitely the whole accusation where you're a werewolf, and if you're a werewolf, trying to figure out how to push the werewolf title onto somebody else, because you obviously don't want to get killed because you'll lose then.
Now, if you go to their website online, you can actually download for iPhone and Android a script that plays, so you can just sort of let it go so nobody has to actually be the reader.
The only problem I've found with this game is there's a lot of people. Sometimes the app doesn't give enough time in order to do all your maneuvering around, especially when you're playing this with 6 or more people. It becomes pretty crowded.
Hold on a minute here. Just wanted to remind you about the crowdfunding campaign that's going on right now. And I wanted to point out to you that every one of you that is watching this right now gave the minimum pledge of $5. This whole thing would be over, we'd make more than our goal, and everything would be great. The shows would be guaranteed to keep going on. So, why don't you take a moment to click right here, go to the funding campaign, and donate that minimum $5 amount. It's all it takes to keep this show and the rest of the shows on our channel ongoing for another year. Thanks. Now back to your regular scheduled show.
The doppelganger is the first one to wake up, and he'll look at another player's card, and now they are that role as well. We can really mess things up. So the doppelganger is described first. The doppelganger will wake up, look at another player's card, and then if the doppelganger is the minion, then the werewolves put their thumbs up for the doppelganger minion. And then it goes through the regular where the werewolves wake up, they look at each other, then the minion wake up, and the werewolves wiggle their thumbs, and so the minion knows who the werewolves are. The masons will wake up, they'll look at each other. The seer will wake up. That's the other one we didn't explain. The seer in One Night Werewolf can look at one player's card or two of the unknown center ones, there are three in the center.
2 of the 3, yeah.
And then the robber will wake up, exchange his card with another person's card.
Is that a
may?
May.
Right. And then the troublemaker will wake up and may exchange 2 other people. The drunk will wake up, switch from the center. The insomniac wakes up, look at the card, and then at the very last doppelganger, if he happened to be the insomniac card, would wake up and look at his card again as well.
Yeah, so the big thing everybody's saying here, so like, wait a minute, we've played Werewolf. It takes forever. That's the big reason why we like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, because after the script that Chris has just described goes off, everybody wakes up, and the accusations start flying, and after that, it's falling down, and we've got a majority, that's the guy we're going to kill. That's it. Somebody wins the game, somebody loses the game. There are no more eliminations, there are no more rounds, no more decisions. That's it. One round and it's over.
There's no, okay, I've been eliminated early, I'll go do something else now.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, where your tokens, if you haven't played either game before, that's where your tokens come in when the accusations start going around. Say, okay, I think he's the werewolf. I don't have the werewolf up there. I think he's the werewolf. We put that token on him. But then the troublemaker might speak up and say, no, I switched those 2. So he's now the werewolf. And then you say, no, I didn't. I was the robber. I took that. And all this, then the lying and the deceit and the trickery starts going on, and those little tokens get bounced around until everyone's finally pointed, and everyone's pointed at someone else.
That's one thing some people might forget. Like, okay, you might have been the robber, you might have been the troublemaker, but the object of the game is you want to kill a werewolf. It's the werewolves and the minion on one side, and then pretty much everybody else on the other side. The doppelganger.
I think he's turning into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Hotels are nice, all good quality pieces, paper money.
The doppelganger, depending on what card they viewed at the start, could be on either team, and the Tanner's on a team all by himself. The Tanner just wants to die.
He's manic depressive or something. I don't know.
He's just depressive. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously some strategy to this, but it's a lot of random, especially since when you went to sleep you were this, but you might not be when you wake up. The drunk for sure is not. He's got no clue who he is. The only one who's certain is the insomniac. He knows who he is.
Well, there's some deduction. You could it's part poker. You're looking at people and to see how well they're telling a lie and their whole, mannerisms and everything like that. They're being real shifty. They're crossing their arms. Or maybe they're just faking it and doing that, Who knows?
Well, a lot of bluffing. Most of the guys are pretty open. Okay, I was a troublemaker. Oh, I was a mason. Oh, I was a villager. The werewolf. So I'm not telling you who I am.
See, that's the thing that we had, though, on one of the last games we played yesterday. We got to, start off really, nobody say anything. Who was the seer? Because if the seer can give his information and say, this is what I know, without it, as long as nobody else has said anything, the seer has to tell the truth. Which is why we did that. And then they're saying, how come nobody's fessing up to, who was the robber? Who was the trouble? Come on, guys. You're not a bad guy. Why are you not saying who you are? It was the whole table of nobody saying nothing.
And that doesn't really help non-werewolf team.
No.
That's for sure.
It was really weird. Why are the villagers not speaking up? Because you want to
The
people to know who
troublemaker,
you are.
like, I was a werewolf, but then I said, oh, okay, I'm the troublemaker. I've had enough fun. I'm screwing around here, you know. I switched those two and everything like that. And
Then the game got to continue a little bit because otherwise it's a little stymied.
yeah, but you can, like, again, our friend Andrew, too, he was holding off, hoping someone would say he was actually his job. He knew what his job was. He was the insomniac or something, and he's waiting for someone else to claim they were the insomniac.
Well,
but nobody did, so he just came out and said, okay, I'm the insomniac. And he was. So
Well, that's a good strategy when you're, say, the Tanner or the werewolf or even the minion is to claim you're a role that you're not.
yeah.
I mean, it's safer if the role you picked is one from the center, so no one's going to argue with you. But at the same time, it's a one-on-one argument. If someone, no, I was a seer. No, I was a seer.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you believe?
Exactly. It's like you could say that you're something, and then someone else would pipe up and say, no, you weren't. I was. I caught you. Ha ha, you lied. Say, no, but they could actually be the liar and just trying to screw around, you know?
Anyway, wrapping up for One Night Ultimate Werewolf. The theme, there's werewolves in the village and you're trying to kill them. It's really, there's robots in the theme and you're trying to assemble them. It's anything. Easy to play. Yeah, really easy to play. And fun to play, really fun to play, but you have to be in the mood for it because it is total party game with so much arguing and accusations, and nobody is trusting anybody, especially if you play multiple editions and you
Party
bluff
game
them good.
with accusations. That just doesn't sound right.
For that, I give One Night Ultimate Werewolf a 7.
This one, I like it a lot because it is quick and it's a lot of fun. But Craig's right, there's a little bit of luck in it and randomness. But I think that because the troublemaker switching things around, the robber gets to steal some. The insomniac is probably the only one that knows. Is the only one that knows for sure. But there's still the bluffing and stuff that makes it fun. I think that's where the party bit comes in. It's a little more social that way. But the rules are simple in that. But as far as the rules are simple, but as far as difficulty of the game, yeah, it's the randomness that throws it off. It's the deceit and the trickery and, people just maybe just screwing around for the hell of it or something. They can kind of throw it off a little bit. So it depends on the players quite a bit, but there is some deduction to it. And if you can trust me, if you know you're the seer or something, you looked for sure, you know what's going on. You just got to try and convince people. I'm going to give an 8.5.
It is exactly what I enjoy in a game. You get to read other people. You get to throw accusations out. You get to try to figure out. You're trying to divulge the truth. You're trying to corner people off. Okay, those guys aren't talking. Maybe they're werewolves. Pressure them to pick a role or admit they're a werewolf, and then they pick a role, and someone else says, "Wait a second, that was me," and then the fun ensues. And this is a fast game, unlike a regular werewolf, where you got a huge amount of people, and once you're eliminated, you go buy pretzels or something. This game, there's just one elimination, and the game is over. It's very quick. If you find the accusation part of it is getting too long, you can always put a 5-minute time limit before everyone's got a point. This helps speed things up. I definitely like the characters with powers over the villagers because, the villagers will definitely give the werewolves a little bit of help because they don't have to back anything up. Like, okay, yeah, you were the troublemaker. Who'd you switch? As long as you're playing with a good group that's into it, this game can be a lot of fun. You want to play this in a room that's fairly loud so you don't hear the shuffling. You want to have enough room that you can move the cards around on the table without bumping into people or I don't know, just doing it some way so it just becomes a pure deduction game when you wake up, as opposed to being able to listen real well or being able to feel when someone's hitting the table on a certain roll to know, okay, that rolls over on that end of the table. I don't think that should be part of the game. I think if you can eliminate the possibility of people being able to have an idea when that happens, that'd be great. But this game is definitely a riot. Definitely enjoy it. This is a good meet-up group game when we have a big group of people. It's good for it. It's easy to learn. I mean, you just described the roles. You go through the script, and yeah, this game is a lot of fun. I've never played with the doppelganger yet, but I'm definitely going to put it in because that'll definitely add a lot more fun and craziness to it. Because imagine when the troublemaker wakes up, there's a doppelganger troublemaker too, and then they're both switching things around, or double robber. That just becomes crazy. And then trying to figure out what's going on, what happened with your role at the end, can be a lot of fun. Because I remember the one game we played, I was sitting next to the seer, and I was a werewolf, and he said I was a werewolf because he looked at my card, and no, I'm the seer, and I looked at those two cards. You must be a werewolf. And no one knew who and who until the troublemaker spoke up and said, oh yeah, I switched those two roles. In which case I realized, okay, I got switched. Now I am the seer. So boom, I now accuse the guy who was the seer in the first place because he got the werewolf card. A lot of crazy things can happen like that. Like your team, the team you're on at the start of the game, might not be the team you're on at the end of the game. So in that sense, you want to be a little bit careful when you say your role. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of deduction, a lot of trying to figure out what the heck happened at night. One thing's for sure, though. The insomniac knows who they are, and the drunk has no clue. So I give One Night Werewolf a 9.
So that's it
this
for this
game
episode.
Is definitely a riot.
Yes.
And we'll wrap it up.
Yes, we'll wrap it up for this episode of the Gamers Table. Tune in next week where we review another game.
Because that's what we do.
Want to send a special shout out to my friend Andrew for bringing out my copy of One Night Werewolf. It's definitely a game we're enjoying a lot. Thank you very much, and definitely be gaming with you soon.
For that I give Werewolf a 7. For that I give Ultimate One Night Werewolf. For that I give Ultimate One Night Werewolf.
I need your help. My brother. He's missing.
Nah, so tell it to the cops, dollface.
I have nowhere else to go.
So tell me about your brother.
He works at the university, doing research for several of the professors. Internet searches for strange happenings. Things of that sort.
Strange happenings? What kind of strange happenings?
He's heading to the apartment. Should I stop him?
What the hell is this thing?
Don't make me come back down here again, Carmichael. You need to back off.
Look, Rach, I've got a case. And I need your help. I'm being tailed by lurking strangers and warned off the case by angry cops.
He contacted her, just like you said he would.
Very well. Perhaps we should lend Mr. Carmichael some assistance ourselves.